to the Deco Diva channel. If you're passionate about home decor inspiration, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into a beautiful topic that combines timeless charm and rustic beauty, creating a vintage-inspired tablescape for your next gathering. Whether you're hosting a family dinner or a special celebration, this look will transform your table into a stunning focal point. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more home decor ideas, tips, and tricks. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so don't forget to like this video and leave us a comment with your favorite design elements. Now, let's set the scene for a tablescape that's full of warmth, nostalgia, and sophistication. In this video, we'll guide you through the process of creating a rustic elegance theme, blending vintage pieces with modern touches. By the end, you'll have the perfect formula to craft your own charming and inviting tablescape for any occasion. Let's get started. When designing a rustic-inspired tablescape, the foundation starts with the right table. For this style, a wooden table is the best choice, something with a weathered or natural finish that speaks to the rustic charm. If you're lucky enough to have a reclaimed wood table, it will add an extra layer of authenticity and history to the setup. If your table isn't quite what you want, consider using a tablecloth or runner in a neutral color. Natural fabrics like linen or cotton will complement the rustic aesthetic, giving your tablescape a soft, inviting look. A slightly imperfect finish, with visible wood grains or a distressed look, will enhance the vintage appeal. You could also add a vintage table extension if you're hosting a larger gathering, creating a rustic family-style dining experience. This addition will not only serve a functional purpose but will also contribute to the old-world charm of the space. The next step is selecting your table linens. For a vintage-inspired look, choose fabrics that evoke a sense of warmth and history. Lace table runners, soft linen napkins, or delicate crochet placements can instantly transport your tablescape to another time. These elements are perfect for creating a relaxed yet elegant vibe. Don't shy away from mixing textures. A textured linen tablecloth combined with lace napkins brings depth and dimension to your setting. If lace isn't quite your style, a natural burlap runner can add a more rustic touch, balancing softness with an earthy feel. Consider adding subtle patterns like floral or gingham for extra vintage appeal. These patterns work beautifully when paired with simple, solid-colored plates and glassware, adding a touch of whimsy without overwhelming the design. When it comes to selecting dinnerware, aim for pieces that have a timeless, vintage feel. You can go for mismatched china to create a collected over time look. Antique or vintage plates, cups, and bowls with floral patterns, gold accents, or simple edges add a nostalgic touch that perfectly complements a rustic tablescape. Another option is using stoneware. Its earthy, handcrafted appearance evokes a sense of history and pairs beautifully with rustic decor. Soft whites, muted blues, and earthy greens work wonderfully to create a cohesive and elegant feel. For a modern twist, mix vintage plates with modern glassware or silverware. This fusion of old and new will give your tablescape an eclectic vibe while still maintaining that rustic elegance. Glassware is an often overlooked but important element in creating a vintage tablescape. For a rustic vibe, opt for glassware with intricate details or slightly imperfect shapes. Think cut glass goblets or etched vintage wine glasses. These types of glassware evoke the charm of bygone eras. Consider pairing different glass types for a more curated, collected feel. For example, use old-fashioned tumblers alongside antique wine glasses. The slight differences in height and design will add character and authenticity to the table setting. For added elegance, use glass candle holders or a vintage crystal decanter. This will not only elevate the visual appeal but also bring a touch of glamour to your rustic tablescape. A centerpiece is the heart of your tablescape. For a vintage-inspired rustic look, fresh flowers arranged in an old mason jar, a vintage pitcher, or a wooden crate will bring an organic touch to the table. Consider using wildflowers, lavender, or roses for a soft, romantic vibe. The key is to keep the arrangement low enough so guests can still have a conversation across the table. Alternatively, a simple bunch of greenery in a glass vase can work beautifully to add life to your setting without drawing too much attention away from the food. For extra vintage flair, you can also add small antique objects, like old books or trinkets, surrounding your centerpiece. These details will give your table a curated, vintage feel that's rich in character. Lighting plays a crucial role in setting the tone for any gathering. Soft, warm lighting enhances the rustic elegance of your tablescape. Consider using candles in vintage candle holders, mason jars, or lanterns to add a cozy, intimate glow. For a more dramatic effect, use tapered candles in rustic candle holders placed at varying heights. The flickering candlelight will create a romantic, vintage-inspired atmosphere that's perfect for dinner parties or holiday gatherings. If you're looking for more modern options, string lights or fairy lights woven around the centerpiece or placed in glass jars can evoke the same warm, inviting glow. These lights add a magical touch to the rustic table, especially during evening events. Personalizing place settings adds a special touch to your gathering. You can write your guests' names on vintage-style place cards or small pieces of wood for an earthy, rustic feel. This thoughtful detail makes each guest feel valued and gives the tablescape an extra layer of charm. You could also tie a small sprig of rosemary or lavender to each napkin with twine. Not only does this enhance the rustic aesthetic, but it also offers a pleasant scent that will linger throughout your meal. If you want to go further, consider giving guests a small gift or favor that ties into the vintage theme, like a small jar of homemade jam or a vintage-inspired key. These personal touches will make the gathering feel even more special. Vintage flatware can instantly elevate your tablescape and bring that old-world charm to the forefront. Look for antique silver or gold utensils with intricate detailing, such as floral motifs or scalloped edges. If you don't have vintage flatware, you can still achieve a similar look by mixing and matching modern flatware that has a classic, elegant design. Choose utensils with a slightly aged finish to replicate the look of vintage pieces. To complete the rustic vintage look, consider adding a charming napkin ring, perhaps one made of rustic twine or with an antique charm attached. This small detail can make a big difference in tying the entire look together. When creating a vintage-inspired tablescape, the key to success lies in balancing colors and patterns. Soft, muted tones like pastel pinks, dusty blues, and pale yellows will keep the look cohesive and charming. These shades evoke a nostalgic, cozy feeling that perfectly suits a rustic gathering. You don't have to stick to one solid color palette. Mixing subtle floral prints, gingham, and even stripes can add layers of visual interest while maintaining a balanced vintage feel. Keep the tones consistent, and avoid bold, clashing colors. If you're working with natural elements like wood and greenery, use earth-toned colors to complement them. This helps ensure that your rustic tablescape doesn't feel too busy, keeping the overall aesthetic warm and inviting. An important aspect of creating a vintage-inspired rustic tablescape is cultivating an inviting atmosphere. Use soft music in the background, low lighting, and a comfortable seating arrangement to encourage conversation and relaxation. Think about your guest experience. Place chairs at different angles around the table to ensure that everyone feels included in the conversation. Rustic wooden chairs with vintage cushions will enhance the theme and add to the comfort. Add a few cozy throws or pillows around the room to create a homely feel. The more comfortable and welcoming your space is, the more your guests will enjoy the vintage ambience you've created. While your tablescape is the main event, don't forget about styling the surrounding space. Vintage elements like old suitcases, wooden crates, or antique mirrors placed around the room can add layers of rustic charm to the overall ambience. Consider using vintage trays to hold drinks or appetizers. These trays can be an extension of the tablescape, bringing the rustic theme into other areas of your home. Keep these elements subtle to avoid overwhelming the overall look. You could even display vintage artworks or family photos to create a more personalized, nostalgic vibe throughout the entire room. These small touches will pull the entire theme together, adding character and warmth. Seasonal touches help make your tablescape feel fresh and current. In the fall, you might add small pumpkins or gourds to the table, while in the winter, a few sprigs of holly or pine cones could add texture. If you're hosting in spring or summer, fresh fruits like peaches or strawberries, placed in vintage bowls or baskets, can enhance the rustic vibe. Keep these seasonal elements simple to maintain the elegance of the overall design. Changing up these seasonal touches can keep your tablescape dynamic and appropriate for various occasions throughout the year. Before your guests arrive, make sure the table is set in a way that makes it easy for everyone to enjoy the meal. Ensure that each place setting has enough space, and that everything is arranged neatly. Check to ensure your lighting is at the right level for the atmosphere you want to create, soft and warm but bright enough for everyone to see clearly. If you're serving multiple courses, ensure your table has space for dishes to be passed around. Having a rustic, charming atmosphere can only enhance your guests' dining experience. Thank you for joining us on this journey to creating a rustic, vintage-inspired tablescape for your next gathering. We hope you feel inspired to add some vintage charm to your home decor. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more home decor ideas and tips. We'd love to hear about your favorite vintage elements for a tablescape, so drop a comment below and let's chat. As always, thank you for being part of the Deco Diva community. We can't wait to see you again for our next home decor adventure.